We're here with Mr. Robert Reid of the Charlotte Hornets, and we're going to ask Mr. Reid a few questions here, and he's going to share with us his political views. Mr. Reid, please tell me, is America ready for 4 more years of Reaganomics?
In my opinion, I would have to say no. And that's based on that as of right now, there is so much negativism against Reaganomics that people are looking for a change overall. Everyone is always, it's been embedded in their mind from the newspaper columnists and TV reports that the rich keep getting richer where the poor get poorer. And so folks are looking for an upward change as of right now. You know, what about my milk and honey days? Are they here to come? And I think that right now people are going to sit back and take a very careful look at see what the Democratic Party can do for them.
Okay. Do you feel that the presidential campaign of Governor Dukakis would be strengthened or hurt by working closer with the Reverend Jesse Jackson?
I think it can be strengthened by working with Jesse Jackson, and that would be in the sense that now people are going to see those who were big supporters of Jesse will see that Dukakis is taking an approach saying, I am not above saying that I don't have all the answers. I want people around me that can give me some answers. And this in turn will let the Dukakis people see what Jesse Jackson can do. Because bear in mind, the one thing that people are still looking at Jesse Jackson is he is a preacher trying to be a presidential candidate. And the worst thing that could have happened for Jesse, in my opinion, was that the minute that the race was over and they out of Atlanta, next thing you know, he was on a plane in California helping the migrant worker Chavez. Now, what is to say that if Jesse isn't a president, that he doesn't get up and go somewhere? There's a garbage worker in Tupelo, Mississippi that I have to go down there and help. You know, there comes a point that, yes, you are going to be an activist, or you're going to be the preacher, or you're going to be the presidential candidate. That's when you send your people down there saying, I am representing Jesse Jackson.
Okay, thank you. Recently during the Democratic convention, Jesse Jackson's son, Jesse Jackson Jr., said, our generation is prepared to act. Do you feel this statement is symbolic of today's assertiveness of our young blacks, or is there another movement on the horizon?
I think this generation of young people we're speaking of wants to act. They want to move forward, but they're still thinking about which way do we move forward. As a whole, I would have to be honest and say that across America, the black race is at a standstill. We can't do what we say we want to do. First of all, you have white America that says, look, it's about time you blacks go out and start helping yourself. We're trying to do this and that, so, start doing something. So then we'll turn around and say, okay, this is what we want to do, but we're going to need the money to do that, and this is the area we're going to move. Well, wait a minute now. We didn't mean that much. So this is where we're stagnated on in that part. Then we're stagnated for the fact that we're still fighting and in battling ourselves. That we don't look up and say, look, let's start to pull our resources together, right? There is nowhere in the world that a race of Asians can be in their country for the better part of all their lives and centuries, and then in 10 years' time come to America and own not only banks, city blocks, and office buildings and whatnot. Why? Because they came in and pulled their resources together. Bear in mind, they took a concept of what the Jewish nationality has done in America. And right now, our generation of black is at a standstill because we have been here over some 100-odd years, and there's not one city in America that you can go to and says, name me a block or 2 blocks that there are a bunch of black people that own. We will not go nowhere until we get off our cans and start working together and say we're going to do it.
What is it about the 60s movement that today's students should be most aware of?
The 60 movement is one that naturally the first thing come in mind that our people, the young kids of today saying, well, what is Vietnam? What was Vietnam? And I think if the one thing we can say is Vietnam is something that tore our country apart. We had the liberals, we had the activists, and then those who were caught in the middle said, well, what's going on? 1 minute we don't want to fight, and next minute we want to fight. That tore this country apart, and that left this country stand still for 10 years, and we had to sort of like kick ourselves up to say, okay, we got to pick the pieces up and go to work with it. But right now, probably the most important thing our young people are going to learn is that, hey, let's don't let that 10-year span happen to us again. Let's don't be at a standstill where we're fighting each other.
One last question, Mr. Reid. What is the status of the American dream? Is this something that is achievable by most Americans, all Americans? Okay. What is the status of the American dream? Is it something that is achievable by most Americans, some Americans, all Americans?
The American dream is something that can be achieved by most Americans. I can't say all Americans, because all Americans don't want to get out and realize you got to work for your just dues. Most Americans, whether they're brown, Hispanic, black, Asian, realize that to get where you want to be in your dreams, your mind, you got to put the work out for it. And they will go out and will work hard and study, and to realize and to the mistakes I made yesterday, I don't want to make today. So without a doubt, it's a dream that can be achieved by most Americans who really want to go after it. And then now you look back and you say, well, what about those who have achieved? That's when you have to bring it down and say some Americans who have achieved it. Because most Americans will go out and say, well, I'm fine right here. I think I'll just stay right here now because I don't want to go any further and it's just too much hard work. This is when some Americans go up and say, well, I'm going to take that extra 10 steps and work for it. So it's a daily process, I should say, that changes day in and day out.
That's great, Mr. Reid. Thank you.